Hi folks, Outlaw Shaver here, and I'm back again. And for my next trick, well, no, it's not really a trick, but from the last video that I put up about lathering on the face with Wild West Shaving Company soaps, there was a question. I did that with a synthetic brush, of course, and it's all about the same. Of course, a little bit bigger brushes, you're gonna probably want a little more soap in it. But the question did come up about what about natural hair, natural bristle. So I guess we're gonna find out. I hadn't seemed to have a problem with it, or actually paid a particular attention to how many times I swirled it to load the brush when using a natural hair, but I've got 3 of them here. So actually, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and load all 3. They're all 3 a different type. First off, I've got a V-long horsehair, and it's been soaking. The next brush I've got is a Omega boar, and it is the number 48, I guess, the Omega Professional. That's one that my barber gave me. And the third brush I've got is a cheap $6 Chinese Black Badger, which to this date has been my worst lathering brush that I can get a hold of. I don't know why. It swallows lather, or has had some sort of difficulty on it. I might save that till last to see if it actually works with the method that I showed before with the synthetic. It may fail. So, but we're going to get to the bottom of it, see how it works with natural hair brushes. So first thing I'm going to start off with, and I'll use the same puck I used the other day, the Chisholm Trail. I might even use gin and tonic or something for the second brush. But anyway, basically, again, what I do, I'll take the damp brush, wet my face, and then just dampen it again a little bit and shake it out. I don't squeeze it out, I just shake it out, what will come out of it. It is pretty well soaked, so there's some moisture in the hair. And I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Paint it on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see that those bristles just all over and outside of it as well. So I guess we'll see how this works, where it goes to. And one thing I notice about this horsehair, I like the feel of the bristle itself, but I have to say, it's not a very stiff brush. It doesn't have much backbone, just kind of flopping all over the place. So it'll spread a pretty good distance. Let's go ahead and give it a shot here and see where it goes. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water even. Just dipping the tips in the water. And where it seems that I've found that these, or at least this particular brush in a horsehair, with as floppy as it is, it seems to excel more in a painting action. And I think we've got a fairly decent lather there. It's adequate. It's got a good sheen on it. It's got enough moisture in it that a straight razor won't stick, and yet slick enough for a good protection with a double edge, even a more aggressive one. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and just wash this off. I think with what's here, we would probably at least be able to get one, maybe two more face lathers with it. Then we'll go on to the boar brush, see how it does. Okay, my face is already wet or damp, so I probably won't go with wetting it with the second brush. But here it is. We've got a good shake or two. Let's try the 6-stroke load. Paint it on. This boar seems to hold a bit more water too. Of course, it is a little bit bigger knot. I think this is about a 24, maybe a 26. Still only 6 strokes on the soap. Now let me get down to the crux of this. There's nothing wrong with starting dry on a soap, adding water to it, but the important thing is that you actually get enough in it to begin with anyway to get the consistency that you want. And you can see, I don't know if you can or not, I've got just a really cheap camera, so phone camera, not really good, but the sheen that's on this to me tells me that that's ready to shave. It feels creamy on the face, but it's still pliable enough that it's not going to stick to the razor. It's going to be easy to wash out. I'm going to go further with this. I'm going to go ahead and do a shave. I got a Merkur here, 34C, and let's see what's in that. A 7 o'clock platinum. All right, wash the face off. Second lather out of this brush. Okay, so there you see it. The natural bristle, at least in this bore, being a bigger knot, is going to take a little more soap than 6 strokes. You might want to go 10 to get more of a lather out of it. Or you can do 6 strokes for one pass and then go back to the puck and do it again. Anyway, I just figured we'd try to prove out what kind of scenario that we have there, you know, and how much more or less or same amount of soap that it would take. The synthetic is by far your best brush with the smallest amount of soap if you're wanting to be conservative. If you're, well, here's a 26 millimeter Badger. Since we've shown that, let's do 8 turns on it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And see where this one goes. Okay, 8 turns each side of the face. Hard to say how long, I can't remember exactly how long I've had this one, and it's still losing hair. So it's not your best. It's, like I said, it was a $6 cheap Chinese made, not known for the best comfort or the best lathering, but here's what we've got. And I think that looks pretty good for another pass. And I'm liking that Gillette 7 o'clock Super Platinum. It's a nice blade. Very smooth, but at the same time sharp enough. I know it pairs very well with this 34C, an exceptionally smooth shave. Okay. Let's go ahead and wipe this down. And see what we get for a second. So there, I really do think that I think probably 8 turns or a little more, but still, that's not very much soap to have to load into a brush, even for a natural hair. 26 millimeter badger, black badger. Dip a little bit of water there. Okay. Pass number 3. And let's go for the third face lathering or coating with this brush, and I'll do pass 4 against the grain. So it looks like 8 turns on it for each side of the face. We'll get it done. You might want to go with 10, and I would recommend it probably 10 turns with the bore, you know, the professional. Of course, it is a taller loft. So if you're trying to cut down on the amount of soap that you use, I think that Wild West soaps do perform pretty well with a minimal amount. Now, as you can see, this looks rather thin, but it's just slick as snot. And basically, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to rub that down and shave with it. And even as the cushion is depleted, in this case, rubbed in, I'm not missing anything against the grain. And I don't feel like I've lost anything for comfort. So they're very versatile. Add enough water. That's all I can say. They just become super slick. And cushion is great, but I think glide and slickness trump it just a little bit, at least especially in the final passes. So my recommendations, you know, like I used the other day, 22 millimeter brush, synthetic. It's, you know, 6 turns on each side, and you saw what I got. Synthetics are probably going to perform a little better with less soap. This thing, put at least 10 turns into it. Maybe the same for all natural bristle. I think this probably could have benefited from that as well, even though we used 8. I think 10 turns versus the 6 in a synthetic, and it'll dial in pretty good. As you can see, I don't squeeze all of the water out. The reason that I am showing the importance of getting enough water to begin with, and I know that you can just keep adding to it, you know, if it's a little too dry, but it'll take the water. It needs to have it. The bentonite clay that's in it, the sodium borate that's in it, everything is activated by water. When you get enough, or at least when you dial in the appropriate amount, it's going to perform better. You don't have to use too much soap to get what you need. You'll find it. I'm confident that you'll find a place that works for you with the type of brush that you like to use, whether it be a synthetic or whether it be a natural bristle. I really believe that you'll find that. Play with it. You know, if you've had a poor experience with it, chances are sometimes it's too dry. And the slickness really comes out when you get enough water in it. So try with it. You know, play with it. Try to break it even, you know. I think you'll be surprised at how much you'll get for how little you load. All right, thanks y'all. And Spencer Frankel, he has requested that I do a bowl lathering method as well. So that'll probably be up next. Have a good night.